Oh yeah, for sure. The back-to-backs kind of got us, so we all kind of doing what we need to, get what we need to be ready for our next game, which is what, Friday.
Friday.
Doing the best we can, man.
Or Matt Ferreira.
Yeah, obviously Kelsey mentioned it's a back-to-back 11 games in 20 days. It was kind of a sluggish start for you guys, just kind of, was it just tiredness or kind of what happened in the first quarter?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think mentally we just kind of like as an organization, we just kind of just probably need a day or two to decompress. But yeah, probably a combination of all that together. Probably just collectively, coming off a win, but having to get on a private jet right after that is just, the back-to-back whole situation is kind of messes up probably.
This is a question for Kelsey or Melissa, both of you if possible. Just to follow up on the schedule, 11 games, that's the most in the Wnba. Do you guys as a team feel it's impacting you at all? Playing that many more games in comparison to others?
I mean, it's good and bad. I feel like you get to learn from your mistakes a lot more times than a lot of teams. And then also it's just wear and tear on your body, having 2 back-to-back games already and just playing like every other day. But, at the end of the day, this is our job, so can't complain too much.
Yeah, I think for us, like you said, it's kind of it's a punch in the gut right now because it's kind of how it feels. But I think collectively, if we could use everything that we've been through from the start to now, I think that we could be a really great playoff team if we put our minds to it.
For each of you, in turn, Liz, to start, defensively tonight, it seemed like a lot of the strategy when you had people down low was as much to bother them as anything else. So, just kind of take me through what you're thinking as they obviously throw so much length at you.
For their defense or our defense?
For your defense, or when you're defending under the rim.
I mean, we're defending great players, so I don't know. We went in there with certain schemes. We didn't execute every single scheme, but I mean, we tried our best. We still have a lot to work on, so we'll take you into the next game.
And Kelsey, you mentioned playoffs, and obviously not the start that you guys are looking for, but at the same time, the flip side of 11 and 20 is you have, by most measurements, the fewest games, the lightest schedule the rest of the way. Do you feel as if in a certain way the schedule makers did you an advantage that as this team learned to play together, the hardest games are now behind you as well?
I want to say the hardest because I think the WNBA is the WNBA for a reason, and I think the all 12 teams are, really, really great teams, and I think we have to be ready for no matter who it is. I will say top contenders was the beginning of our schedule, so I think, like I said, we got punched in the face early, figuratively speaking, and I think that being able to get this experience right, I think going into down stretches of the rest of our season, we should be able to punch back and respond early and respond on time and not have losses like this, that's for sure.
Hey, Kelsey, how much practice have you guys had since preseason? Any? 0, 1 day?
Probably 1 or 2 days, maybe. I wouldn't even count that as a practice, though. I would honestly say no. We haven't actually had a true practice. It's been a while.
So besides rest that you'll get the next couple of days,
Yeah.
it's nice actually be able to get back in the gym and practice and work on stuff that obviously hasn't been going for both of you guys?
I would think so.
Yeah, for sure.
We're definitely going to take the time to kind of reset. I think for us, the organization has been on a different light than it's been in the past. I think all of us collectively, personnel, everybody just kind of need a day. I think we just can all use a day in our organization to kind of get back what we need, get back what we lost, and use it as a reset, use it as fuel later.
In addition just to the rest, what are you two both looking forward to the most in these next 5 days without a game, personal or basketball related?
Sleeping in, I get tired. I just want to sleep in.
No, y'all seriously, it's been a
No,
while
for
since we
real.
actually slept in, so
It's been a while.
she got a point.
So that's about it, bro.
Matt, one more.
Yeah, Kelsey, obviously, not having that much practice time doesn't help. A busy schedule doesn't help. But when you do get that practice time, for you and Caitlin's sort of 1-2 game duo, what's the area where once you do get that practice time, you want to improve the most?
I think we got to make the best of our time, man. I think that we as a young group have to understand that we are playing against, the best of best every single night. It doesn't matter what team they are, and I think that when we go in practice, we have to practice with purpose. I think when we go in practice, we have to actually go hard in everything we do, whether it's layups, I don't care if it's just shooting it on your own. Get your reps and, do your work. And I think we got to do it efficiently as a group. I think when we take reps off in practice, it shows in the game. And I think, once, Caitlin get her reset, us collectively get our reset these next 2 days, I think we can go into practice with a clear mindset to actually, see that and work through the film and kind of comb through what's kind of like the details of what we need work at.
Anybody else? The last one here for Howard.
Kelsey, it seemed like you were playing at a different speed today, even though you've been playing coming in on the 11th game in 20 days. It just, how much of that is deliberate strategy? How much of that is just you feeling more capable than you have so far?
I think for me, man, I look at the game as like I'm playing. I try to put my mindset like I'm playing AU. I try to use my mindset and shift my gear from game to game based on who we playing, obviously. But I know what my body need. I know what my mind need, and I put my mind in AU mode real fast because it's like you know how I used to go. You play 3 games, 4 games, and
one day.
One day.
Right.
You play 8 or 9 over the course of 2 days or a weekend. So I just think for me, just the mentality. I'm gonna be aggressive and do right by my team and do right by my coaching staff as much as I possibly can. But for me, it's always about aggression. As long as I'm aggressive.
All right, guys. So, welcome to another Livewire Sports Media. Recap of the game today with the Liberty manhandling, women handling, blowing out the Fever 104-68. In a game which I didn't expect for them to win, I pretty much knew that this game was going to be tough on them because over a week ago, they had a back-to-back on a Friday, Saturday when they had the Sparks, the team that they beat the first time, and they had to play the Las Vegas Aces on a Saturday. So they're the only team that has had the most back-to-back so far, and you heard what the media guy said. They had played 11 games in 20 days, which is absurd because of the schedule. These girls was fatigued because they gave all they could last night in a game that they played the Chicago Sky at home. Then they had to get on a flight, fly all the way to New York, check in, get some rest, then probably had walk around or shoot around today. So they really didn't had too much rest. So they had a chance to compress their body. But nevertheless, this game was over in the first quarter. First half of the game. First half, it was over. There was no need for this team to continue to play on. You saw saw how there was the logic. They wasn't moving well. They wasn't setting screens well. They wasn't, Caitlin missed a lot of her threes that she normally probably hit 3 or 4 of them. She only hit 1. She only had 1 field goal. She was 1 for 7 from the 3, but she managed 5 assists, which that was good. She had 3 points, 2 rebounds, which she usually had about 6 rebounds a game and 5 assists or more, and probably had around about a good bunch of points. Then you had the leading scorer, Kelsey Mitchell, who has no rebounds, no assists. She was 3 for 9 from the free throw line. And this is a problem. And I want to touch on something real quick because I don't like when us as YouTubers have content out there, and whether you don't agree with it or not, and you have your own content out there and you have your own analogy, you kind of try to shit on other YouTubers and say, oh, well, we trying to hype up Caitlin, or we trying to make it seem like she was going to come into the league. Nobody said that she was supposed to come into the league and dominate. Yeah, whatever the mainstream media said, that's them. But we knew what Caitlin Clark was when she was in college. She is a baller. And every great talent that comes in the league is going to suffer at some point. But make no mistake, a true student of the game, a player with high IQ of playing is going to figure out. You just have to have the right coach in place that's going to put the right pieces around you. Every great talent is not going to succeed instantly. Now, she is again, breaking records in the league. But don't make no mistake or poo-poo on her and say that we, as content creators, put her on this higher pedestal. No, there's flaws in this team. And it's dumb and asinine to sit here and say that this team ain't flawed. This team is flawed. There's not a lot of great talent on this team at all. Hell, Kelsey Mitchell do not pass the ball. She only has 1 assist a game. She ain't had no assists in this game. Hell, Wheeler only had 2 assists. Boston was the second person on this team that had more assists than anybody else, and she had 3. Clark leads now, and then sit here and say, "Well, oh, she's a good passer." She has one of the best all-around games, and if her game is not being showcased because other people can't score on her team, they up and down. Aliyah Boston has an up and down game. When Caitlin was putting up numbers, she had Timmy Bailey in the game that runs the floor and gets some easy buckets because people have to pay attention to her a little bit more. And then Caitlin was able to do the things that she normally do. When you got people that don't know how to shoot, don't know how to pass the ball, it makes it hard. So guess what? She's the main focal point of the offense for the Fever. Every team comes out and collapses on her because they know what kind of person she is. Ain't nobody going to sit there and allow Caitlin Clark to shoot and score 30 points on them. It's not going to happen. They don't worry about Mitchell. They don't worry about Elijah Smith. They don't worry about nobody else because they ain't consistent. They know this girl is consistent. And I'm kind of like peed off a little bit because I hear so much. And somebody said that Caitlin Clark is not the best player on her team. That's bullshit. She is the best player on her team because she could do everything that everybody else could do collectively and better. And if Caitlin Clark had a real coach, sorry, Chrissy Sides, and then she had talent around her, and after I get to Chrissy Sides' interview, I will go into what I feel like this team needs for Caitlin Clark to succeed. Hell, Michael Jordan didn't succeed when he first came out. Hell, Kobe Bryant didn't. LeBron James didn't. Hell, Diana Taurasi didn't. Matter of fact, Caitlin Clark's numbers is better than Diana Taurasi's when she was a rookie. So to sit here saying that Caitlin Clark is not the best player on her team, well, hell, if Kelsey Mitchell was on this team last year, why this team didn't win more games than they should have supposed to, and they still end up with the #1 pick? So don't come out here and feeding me that bullshit and talk about what Caitlin Clark is or not. This team is bad. And sitting here saying this team got talent. It's talent on the team, but they're not efficient talent. And some of this talent don't mix. That's why they was in the lottery pick for the last 2 years and probably going to be 3 straight this year. This team is not good. There are selfish plays, individual plays. If you to build a team, you have to, it's just like football. If you got a talented quarterback, you draft a quarterback that's #1, you got to build talent around that quarterback for him to succeed. If you don't put the right talent around him, this quarterback is going to be labeled a bust and not good. And then your team is going to be back in the same position it was. The Indiana Fever drafted Boston last year, who had a decent year. But there were some pieces there. But they changed all of the pieces. Lexi Hull, sweet girl, nice. She's not consistent. She play all right defense. Christy Wallace. She's inconsistent. Mitchell, inconsistent. Elijah Smith, inconsistent. Boston, inconsistent. Katie Lou, inconsistent. So if you have all these inconsistent ass players on your team, it's going to make your star player inconsistent too, because she's trying to get y'all in and play, and y'all not doing what it is. Now, so I'm gonna finish running the stats of the game. Christy Wallace has 6 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Like I said, Laser Smith had 17 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist. She had the most rebounds in the game. Katie Lou, 1 point, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Erica Wheeler, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Grace Berger, 6 points, 13 minutes, 4 points. 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Katie Hall, 8 minutes, 2 assists. Victoria Saxon, 2 points. Grace Berger came in around the 2-minute mark, only had 3 damn minutes in the game. The New York Liberty shot 58% from the field, 37 from the Fever. But yet, Kelsey Mitchell is supposed to be the best player on this team. Okay. The Liberty shot 44% from 3-point line. The Fever shot 25%. The Fever had 64% from the free throw line, where the New York Liberty had 85%. They was 17 for 20 from the line. That means they was getting to the line. They was inside. And make no mistake, the Liberty is a really good ass team. They good. They big. They medium from their guards and they big from their forwards on up. They got long arms, and that's the kind of team that the Fever needs. They need length. They need people that's fast and athletic. They don't need slow ass people. Smith is slow. Samuelson is slow. Boston is slow. They don't have no fast people. So the tempo or the pace for Caitlin Clark to run, they can't run that. So they have to set up a different type of system to help. Grace Berger comes in and run the point, but she could shoot, but she's inconsistent too because she ain't had enough time to play with them. So she's out there playing on the fly easy. You see all the turnovers that they can accumulate because they don't have any consistency with each other. It's just everything is instinct. Like I said, there was 2 technical fouls in the game. I don't remember where the technical fouls come from. They had 6 steals. Fever had 6 steals to 9. They had, the Fever had 1 block. That 1 block came from Caitlin Clark. And then, like I said, so we sitting up here trying to, talk trash about this team and trying to make like this team have a chance. Now, I listened to Kelsey Mitchell in the interview, and she said, "Oh, this team can make the playoffs." This team is not making no damn playoffs. Now, they do got some, because I can tell you, the Atlanta Dream is not a pushover team. They good, they erratic, but they're not gonna be a pushover team. That's gonna be a game that you can't just go in there and think you're gonna win. You're gonna have to play them because they can play. Dallas Wings are a good team. The Minnesota Lynx are definitely a good ass team. The Washington Mystics, they haven't won a game, but they've been in some games. You know what I'm saying? So you can't take that lightly either. But before I carry on, I'm gonna let y'all listen to what Chrissy Sides had to say.
He was still evaluating him when I went back there. Aliyah was an ankle and Caitlin with an ear, something going on with her ear, but that's all. I don't know anything other than that.
And the second part, obviously the game didn't go the way you guys wanted, but how nice is it now that you can go home, get some rest, and then maybe get some practice time before your next game?
Yeah, that's, these guys are beat up. 2 back-to-backs in 1 week, one against Vegas, one against New York. I mean, this isn't a good matchup for us. It's probably the worst team we could have played on a back-to-back with how we're feeling, how our legs are. I was really, in the third, we made that run and cut it to 12. I was really proud of their fight. They called a timeout, and then usually we just weren't able to sustain. I mean, that's a really, really, really good team.
Christy, a couple of things. Just one, Kelsey, even in the back-to-back, in game 11 in 20 days, seemed to be playing at a faster pace. even tonight? I know we talked the last time you came through town, how important pace was going to be. Your pace as a team was up to 8th. I'm sure Tyre tonight, and she's a big part of that. What is allowing her to do more quickly?
Yeah, Kelsey's she's got a speed about her that, you know, she can get up the floor with the ball in her hand faster than anybody I've ever seen. Tonight, though, for the rest of us, we were just slower. Like, our offense looks really good when we're able to move the ball and cut, and, our legs were it's like we were in mud tonight.
And then just the other part is, obviously, a tough game for Caitlin. What is the number one point of emphasis for you with her now that you can finally get into the gym and actually have practices this week?
Yeah, we're going to be able to work on some things on both ends of the floor that we just hadn't been able to. Like, we're, just been able to show them some things on video, but, we'll be able to get into our spacing. We'll be able to script more so we can, all the things that we've put in along the way just to try to get stuff in on our offense. We'll be able to actually work on it, work on the timing, work on the cutting, work on the spacing, work on the screening. That's one thing we've got to do better with our screening. And then also we've got to get shots up. I mean, we've got to be able to make shots. Like, we're getting good shots, but we've got to find a way to get shots up in practice that are game-like so we can make those open looks that we're getting.
Thank you. Matt and Chloe.
Hi, Christy. It seemed like when the game was getting out of hand in the 4th that you put Aliyah and Caitlin back in, and then they had to come right back out. And obviously, injuries like that can be unforeseen. But what was the reasoning for putting them back in so late and when the game was out of hand?
Yeah, they wanted to fight. I mean, they wanted to get in that game and try to make up, try to get the game closer than it was. Like, they have pride too. I mean, they wanted to get in there and keep fighting. So that was the reason.
Was there a dialogue between you, either of them, whether, maybe that wasn't the best idea or
They just, no dialogue. I mean, we just kept fighting. They were fighting until we decided that was, that Aliyah got hurt and then Caitlin as well. But, we were trying to find ways to put the ball in the hole, get some stops, put the ball in the hole, get on a run.
Chloe.
Yeah, Kelsey mentioned that, this week everyone kind of just needs a day to decompress and reset after, 11 games in 20 days and all the increased media attention this year. Just how much is this like a mental reset this week as well as a physical reset?
Yeah, that's what I talked about in pregame. Like, these guys are not just physically exhausted, they're mentally exhausted. We talk a lot about it. Like, their mental health is really important, and they are really struggling right now. It's just been a lot. This is different than anything we've ever experienced. And just appreciate the fact that they keep showing up and putting the work in to get better.
Greg in front row.
Hi, Coach. You tweeted yesterday after the game just about, it seemed officiating. I don't want to assume what you were tweeting about, but were you more comfortable today with the officiating, and did you have any thoughts on the league coming down with a flagrant, looking back and assessing the foul from yesterday and coming down with a flagrant?
Yeah, I mean, that was a non-basketball play that happened last night, and that needed to be, that call had to be made, and I mean, that's just it. I mean, we just need, that just had to be made in that moment. I mean, we won that game by 1 point. It could have gone anyway. But yeah, I mean, we just want to make sure, these guys just need to be consistent on both ends.
Ben, go ahead.
In the back here. You just mentioned obviously the break for your players and kind of the mental reset. I guess for you, just how are you doing after the 11 games in 20 days, and how will you spend kind of the next 4 or 5 days in between?
Yeah, off days for coaches really aren't off days. We've got to get in the video room and my coaches get together and figure out what we do from this moment. Like what we need to focus on, what we need to work on. It's been a grind, man. I mean, it has been a grind. 11 and 20 is tough, but that's just where we are. We don't have this anymore the rest of the way. So now we'll get that time to work, time to get better, time to let people heal. And that's just what we need right now in this very moment.
Doug, go ahead.
Coach, it's just one of those nights for Caitlin. I mean, 1 of 10, shots a little bit short at times, and just back-to-back, let a lot of minutes lately, and just tonight was when shots weren't falling.
Yeah, I mean, their legs are, they're shot. I mean, that's where your, everything stems from your legs when you shoot the basketball, especially for threes. Like their just legs are shot, they're gassed. And so everything was a little short.
All right, you heard Kirsty Sides when she was talking. She's going in about the game, and I have a lot to unpack on this. Her part is because when the third quarter came after halftime, and the Fever got it down to 14, and the Liberty called a timeout, and they came back and they pushed it back up. That's when Christy Sides should have say, "Hey, you know what? Enough is enough." When the reporter asked her and said, "Why you put them back in the game?" She said, "Oh, they want to fight. They want to see if they could." No, you was not going to win the game. You was not going to cut that down. You should have waited till the fourth quarter and said, "Hey, all my starters out. Put all the people back in." You risk injury you could have risked a serious injury with Aliyah Boston. Hopefully her ankle be all right with some rest this week. So she probably won't. She probably will be out for 2 days until whatever. Then, you already had Caitlin out. You should have even brought Caitlin back in and said, "No, guys, y'all can't go in. We not going to win this game." I understand y'all want to fight, but let's use this time to let me put other people in and see what we got. As a coach, you got to protect your players from themselves. You cannot allow your players to dictate because they want to go in the game, they want to play. Because guess what? That's where strained hamstrings come from, pulled calves come from. You see Leo Boston twist her ankle. There anything that could happen to derail y'all for the rest of the season. Because guess what? If Leo Boston get injured, you don't have nobody to put in her spot. Katie Samuelson ain't fast enough or strong enough to battle down low. Elijah Smith, she ain't strong enough or fast enough to battle down low. You don't have no other big. And then Victoria Saxton, she's a rookie, pretty much. She hasn't had no kind of playing time. So you can't take risks and trust that. You got to see what you have. And me personally, I feel like she need to look into the waiver wire if there's some talent out there that she could bring in and cut some of her losses on this roster right now. Because Celeste Taylor ain't getting no burn. You know what I'm saying? She didn't come into 3 minutes of the game where she could have came in the whole fourth quarter where you could let her run the point and see what she got. You know what I'm saying? But you making bad judgments and saying, "Oh, they should," it's my team. They want to fight and stuff like that. You fight. You got 5 days off for this team to rest. This is where you get in the gym with your team and say, "Okay, we're gonna develop plays. We're gonna develop a system, a set." You got 4 days to do that before you play on Friday. They rest on Monday. You come back and run. You practice the next 3 days. I could not care less. Y'all rest. Go to a sauna, a spa, relax your body, get your muscles together and stuff. Be ready to practice and go over film on Wednesday. No, on Tuesday. And then Thursday, practice. Wednesday, practice. Thursday, practice. Find some set plays. Because right now, this team just running on adrenaline. The thing about it is, you starting 3 guards in the game. You started 3 guards. But you have to do that because you got to take the ball out of Caitlin Clark's hand because you run 2-guard system. Kelsey Mitchell ain't gonna pass the ball. The bad thing that I don't like is that when Caitlin has the ball and she gets trapped, nobody moves to the ball at all. They just stand around looking for, and she's looking to get the ball in her hand to reset. They stand around looking at her instead of like, hey, give me the ball. There's no sense of urgency with this team. And that's why I'm saying that these players are not locked in like they're supposed to. If they had a coach that would get in their ass the way they need to and start learning and start playing unselfishly and play for each other, they will probably be a little bit more in games than they have been, whether they win or lose these games. They're not even playing together. It's like every time Nalaja Smith, when she comes in the game, yeah, she's down low, she banging, she got a nice little jump or whatever the case might be. But Caitlin has to get her, because Smith can't get her own shot by herself. Yeah, Kelsey Mitchell can, but guess what? Kelsey Mitchell dribbles with her head down. She doesn't look up. And then when she does look up, it's too damn late. She doesn't look for the pass. I literally watched her dribble to the baseline, and there was one of her players sitting there wide open, and she would not pass the ball. She just kept dribbling, pounding the rock. And then she's talking about in the interview, they was asking, "Oh, you have so much energy." Yeah, she said, "Oh, I gotta think like I was in AAU." No, damn it, you're not in AAU. You're a professional basketball player. You should be looking for your teammates to try to find the easy shot, not trying to dribble into traffic or get locked down on the corner. Like I said, when they do, Caitlin, and I think I'm nitpicking on Caitlin too, she got to move out the basketball a little bit more than what she does. Move around. But the thing about it is, when she is free, they don't pass her. Mitchell don't pass her the ball. Wheeler don't pass her the ball. They just keep the ball and just look the other way. So I looked at the Fever. Roster for next year. Wheeler, Kelsey Mitchell, and Elijah Smith. They all free agents. I don't expect for them three to be back. I think this roster is going to be a whole different when the season comes next year. Whoever the Fever draft next year, either Paige Becker or the girl from Stanford or the girl from LSU. It's one of them three. But I've been doing some research. I really love the girl from UCLA. My bad, that's at Stanford. I think it's Stanford, whatever. Whatever. Anyway, I like her. She has that built like Tammy Fembele, and she has that built like Angel Reese a little bit. And that's what you need. You need athletic built that could score. Post up, has a sweet mid-range jumper. You don't need somebody that cannot be explosive, because I do believe this team is going to be a little bit different next year. It's going to be faster. I don't think Kelsey Mitchell is going to be there. I don't think Wheeler is going to be there. And I damn sure don't think Nalaja Smith going to be there. I do. Now, I also read, too, that Dantas, the Brazilian power forward, they signed her, but she got hurt before around training camp, had a knee injury, so she's been out all season. Don't know when she's going to be back because they had to terminate her contract. But when she come back, they have to bring her back on the team, and that's who I was looking for all these games. And I kept saying where she's at, because she is one of the best point shooters that I have seen. And I did research, and I said that's what they need, somebody that can knock down shots on the outside consistently, because that would free up the middle of the paint, because teams know that if they trap Caitlin Clark, nobody else could get their shot like that. And if they lock them down, because Kelsey Mitchell, she pretty much got all her shots wide open. It's not like she created her own shot. Some of them was passed to her. They was assistance to her. So she got her shot off that way. It's not like she drove, because when she drives to the basket, she so aggressively throw the ball up on the layup, and it's too strong. She don't know how to control herself. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, for people to sit here and talk about she's the best player on the team, get the F out of here. Because she's not better than Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? She's good. She could be better, but she's not, because she doesn't assist. She doesn't rebound that well. You know what I'm saying? Yes, she's fast. She runs the floor good. Yeah. But when she's not scoring, what else can she do? You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this I think the Fever will be all right. It's a tough stretch for them. I'm not even rehashing the stuff from last night's game. I'm way over that right now. I think these young ladies need rest. I feel like if they come back this week, Friday, when they have to play, and they don't play well, then there ain't no excuse for why they will be off almost four days this week until they play Friday, and they don't have no execution, no plan, no better schemes to play ball and win a game. And they lose if they lose against the Mystics on Friday. This going to tell us a whole lot of it's more than just fundamentals with this team. Because, like I said before, early on, you got a generational talent player in Caitlin Clark. She is the focus. She is the face. There is no way in the world that I understand that she came coming in and you already had a team there. But guess what? Going forward, you're going to have to draft players and sign free agent players that fits her style. You got to fit her style. They did it with Michael Jordan. They did it with Kobe Bryant. They did it with LeBron James and early on. Look at the Spurs. They did it. The fit was there. You can't just draft players and expect them the pieces to fit because they don't fit like that. All you got to do is look at how her teammates was in Iowa, what kind of teammates she had. Draft that kind of players. Fast, athletic players that can play defense and can score. That'll take so much off of Caitlin Clark because then teams can't focus on her because they have to focus on other people. And then that allow Caitlin Clark to do what Caitlin Clark can do. She'll be able to spot up the shoot. She'll be able to dribble, drive, kick out, or score under the basket. She'll be able to hit more points because nobody can't lock on her because everybody else is deadly. Just like Steph Curry. They had him, Clay, Harrison Barnes at one point. Then they had Iggy. Then they had Kevin Durant. Then they had Andrew Wiggins. So you gotta put people around your best player. And so people need to stop saying that Kelsey Mitchell is the best player on this team because she's not. She's not. Because she's not going to even be on this team after this year. So I just look at it like this. The Fever got a long way to go. They're going to lose a lot of more games than they're going to win. And it's just reality. But I'm not going to stop watching them, But I think this time now that Christy Sides needs right now is to say, hey, guys, we need to put in a plan. We need to run some sets for Caitlin, some dribble drive, paint, pull up in the middle for some easy shots. Then say, hey, once you get your closer shots falling, then there's going to be times in the game that you could do your pull up, step back three. You know what I'm saying? Because she has the most step back threes in the league right now. You know what I'm saying? And when her shots ain't falling, then she's trying to do other things. Like the game that she had, she scored 30. She had she did everything pretty much. Even though they lost close. And I do want to say this. The two games that they won that Kelsey Mitchell had, because I'm gonna go back to it. Because I can't stand when people just sit here and spew out information. And this video might be long. No, that's not the game right there. The Fever and Sparks. There you go. So, Aliyah Boston had 17. Clark had 11 in that game, but she had two crucial 3 points that won that game. Her 3 points. She had 2 3-pointers that helped win that game. Kelsey Mitchell only had 18. Aliyah Boston had 17. And Wnba had 17. So Kelsey Mitchell did not win that game for them. She had 18. You had 4. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 players in double figures. Clark had a 10 rebound 8 assists, and 11 points that game. And to her 11 points was crucial 3-point play, 3-pointers that helped kept the lead intact where there was. So let's not sit there and act like Kelsey Mitchell had 30 fucking points and won the game. She didn't, because she only had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 foul. You know what I'm saying? So come on. Then let's go to the Sky game. They just won. The Sky game, they just won. All right. Box scores on that one. You had 1, 2, 3, 4 players in. No, that's Sky, my bad. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players in double figures in that game. Kelsey Mitchell, again, had 18 points, leading scorer, just by 1 point by under Aliyah Smith. Aliyah Smith had 17 rebounds, 3 assists, and 9 rebounds. Boston had 10 points, 2 assists, 8 rebounds. Kelsey Mitchell, again, 18 points, 2 assists, 2 damn rebounds. She's a fucking scorer. That's all she does, score. She looks for her shot more than she helps contribute. Caitlin Clark, that game, almost had a triple-double. Again, had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. She almost had a double-double. So, come on. Stop with the narratives saying Kelsey Mitchell is better than Caitlin Clark, because she's not. Because if that's the fact, you take Caitlin Clark off this team, they will get their ass blown out every game. Because guess what? None of them would never get the ball. Because with Kelsey Mitchell trying to pass to them, they want to get the ball. They would take another point guard to pass to them, and they want to score. They would get blown out every damn game. Every game. Even the games that they had lost close, it was because of Caitlin Clark. So let's stop the narrative with saying that Kelsey Mitchell is better than Caitlin Clark. She's a great contributor, but she doesn't assist the ball. She doesn't set her teammates up. She looks for her shot every damn time she gets the ball in her hand. She pounds the rock, pounds the rock, pounds the rock, pounds the rock. And then when she drives to the basket, you know what I'm saying, she throws up these wild-ass layups. The only time she hits a consistent soft-ass layup when she's by her wide open. But when she's driving against people, she throws it up. So what are we talking about here? Like I said, this team is bad because beyond the starting 5 and the occasional 2, there ain't nothing else what we know on there. And like I said, I hate that Dantas is hurt, because if Dantas was not hurt, I don't believe Katie Lou would have got a lot of playing time. I think Tammy Fan Bailey and Dantas would have been the 2 bigs, along with Aliyah Boston. Because check this out, because me personally, I would have probably had, you could have used Lexi Hole in there, or you could have put Christy Wallace, or you could have put Grace Berger in. But you could have had Grace Berger, Caitlin Clark, Dantas, Fan Billy, and damn Aliyah Boston. That's your starting 5 right there. Because guess what? You got Dantas could pull out and shoot threes. Timmy could play inside and shoot threes. Aliyah Boston could play small, and she could be on the basket. You got 3 strong rebounders under the basket. Then that allows that pick and pop, because Dantas could pick and pop for Caitlin. And then you have Wallace or Berger that could run the point and kick it back in. And then you have people that can move out the basketball. Then that would have opened a whole lot more for Clark to do the things that she did. Because Dantas and Fan Belly would have been perfect for Caitlin to be in that starting. But Dantas not there because she's hurt. But she could shoot threes, and she's consistent with it. Then when you want to give her a rest, you could bring somebody like Smith in. You could bring like Samuelson in for Boston, or Fan Bailey, however you want to do it. And then you could bring Kelsey Mitchell in for Caitlin. You know what I'm saying? You have a bench player. That's how I would have did it. or you could have kept Kelsey Mitchell, whatever, however you want to do it. But he can't do it now because it really don't matter. But again, I'm not sitting here, trying to preach or whatever, but I'm just making a point that the Fever don't have great players, and they're gonna have to draft again in a high pick, and they're gonna have to look for athletic free agents that could score and defend. They're gonna have to get better on defense. That's the only way it's going to be better, because with Caitlin's vision and scoring, she's gonna draw the most attention from anybody because they know what she can do. So when you got somebody that could run with her, it's going to help her a whole lot. But anyway, continue to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Until the next video, I'll holler at you. Peace.